Welcome today to this interesting session on professional voice to explore the wonderful gift of communication, our voice. Voice not only conveys message, voice also conveys emotions. Voice creates personality, voice creates aura.
आज मेरे पास बिल्डिंगें हैं, प्रॉपर्टी है, बैंक बैलेंस है, बंगला है, गाड़ी है, क्या है तुम्हारे पास?
A newborn child is born with a sound, but he gets the first lesson of music from the mother's lullaby and the chirp of the birds. The first lesson of tal, rhythm, comes from the cradle. Voice is produced from vocal cords which are hanging in the neck. Voice is not the product of only a small machine hanging in the neck, but voice is the product of many small machines working in close, coordinated fashion like this. And it is this orchestra which is the professional voice. So professional voice users are not only singers and actors. Even politicians, teachers, call center employees, lawyers, doctors, receptionists, they are all professional voice users. However, singers and actors are athletes in the voice world. The problem of the professional voice users are almost always benign. They are rarely surgical. They are very small problems in voice, but they require a sophisticated analysis by trained personnel. Therefore, a dedicated professional who has got a better understanding of anatomy and physiology of voice production, who can devote more time, and who is better equipped with instruments and experience in handling celebrities, who is also having an artistic bent of mind along with the scientific approach, is always welcome. Voice care is today where otology was around 30 years back. So let's see what is the voice machinery in the human beings. It has got a power source which is the lungs. It has got an oscillator with the vocal cords in the larynx. It has got a resonator which is in the neck and the sinuses. So let's start with the basic of voice, the oscillator, the larynx. The larynx consists of few bones, few cartilages and few muscles. On the top of the larynx is hyoid bone, which helps the larynx to be suspended in the neck. And the rest of the cartilages and the muscles hang from the hyoid like this. The thyroid cartilage is the framework, is the main cartilage of the larynx. The cricoid cartilage forms the base of the larynx. On which the whole larynx sits comfortably. The muscles of the larynx are classified into two groups, extrinsic and intrinsic. The extrinsic muscles help to move the laryngeal framework, the thyroid and the hyoid bones, and the cricothyroid muscle which connects the cricoid and the thyroid cartilages are the most important. The cricothyroid muscle is very important in singers when they want to attain the high pitch, because it elongates the vocal fold by tilting the thyroid cartilage forward and downwards. As you can see here, when cricothyroid muscle contracts, the thyroid cartilage is bent forwards and downwards. So see what happens when a singer tries to achieve a high tone. You can see the lengthening of the vocal cords. which is affected by the cricothyroid muscle. Vocal ligaments are the paired elastic bands that extend from the vocal process of the arytenoids to the inner surface of the thyroid cartilage. What is important to understand is vocal ligament is not vocal fold. The vocal folds consist of vocalis muscle, vocal ligament and the mucosa. So vocal ligament is the name for the deep layer of the lamina propria. The vocalis muscle has got two parts. The internal thyroarytenoid or internal vocalis, which helps to stiffen the vocal ligament, and the external thyroarytenoid or the external vocalis, which pulls the arytenoid forward, thereby increasing the thickness of the vocal fold. So in combination, the vocalis muscle can have various actions, and by these a voice professional gets all the abilities to maneuver all kind of pitches and loudnesses as he wants. Coming to the arytenoids, they are the paired cartilages which are responsible for the motions of the vocal fold, medial to lateral. Most of the muscles acting on the vocal fold are attached to this arytenoid cartilage. As you can see here, the fine control of these muscles finally decide where the vocal folds are going to rest in which part. And a fine coordinated movement of the arytenoids and the thyroid cartilage along with the extrinsic and intrinsic muscles finally decide the pitch, the loudness, the emotion, everything which is installed into the voice. Almost all the muscles attached to the arytenoids are adductors of the vocal folds. That means they bring the vocal folds together, except for PCA or the posterior cricoarytenoid muscle, which is the abductor, or it moves the vocal folds apart. One of the most important adductors is the LCA or the lateral cricoarytenoid. The others are the transverse interarytenoid, which causes the superior closure of the posterior glottis in addition to adduction of the vocal folds, and the oblique interarytenoid, which causes the medial closure of the posterior glottis and adduction of the vocal folds. The PCA muscle or the posterior cricoarytenoid, as we just discussed, is the one which keeps the laryngeal inlet open. The arytenoids are also called the lifeline because if the movement of adduction does not take place when you are eating something, you will get choked. And if they do not open when you are breathing, you cannot breathe. So it's very interesting that the small cartilages at the back of the larynx are the lifeline of the whole human body. And this is how the whole larynx moves with the extrinsic muscles. Apart from this, the position of the larynx in the neck is also decided by strap muscles and the constrictors of the pharynx, such as during swallowing, the larynx gets elevated, and also during high pitch phonation, the larynx is elevated. If you have to produce a pitch like E, the larynx goes up. But if you have to produce a sound like E, the larynx goes down.